quite excited. Coaching is one of my big specialities and I love people development and agents. So I'm quickly just going to talk you through what we will be looking at today. And then I will take you straight into the actual screen to share. So when we talk agent performance, agent pain points and agent issues, firstly, quickly just for today's demonstration, the very first thing I will show you is just how we go about using Kolbe and the processes within Kolbe, the feature to flag ad hoc calls to use in your training and coaching. I will also just show you on your dashboards how you use your visual dashboards to identify your outliers, your agents that you need to pay attention to. Then very importantly, looking at your agent productivity in any call center, you need to know if your agents are being productive. So we will have a look at that. We will also look at driving your agent behavior to ensure better call outcome insights, making sure that they are wrapping the call the way they need to. And then we will also look at how to improve your customer experience, ensuring compliance on all your calls. And then lastly, your soft skills, how you can build queries and have use cases to test for soft skills. And at the end of that, I'm just going to show you now that you've coached, how do you track whether your coaching is actually effective and if there are any improvements with your agents training process. And then I'm also going to show you just some use cases, how you can track and what you can work through. So without further ado, the clock has started. I am aiming for 25 minutes today. So I'm going to start off very firstly, before I go into any dashboards or building any queries, I'm just going to show you how Kolbe also has a built-in functionality where you can put a tag or a note or something like that on a call. I refer to it almost like a post-it note. So this is where you work through Kolbe, you pick up a call and you realize that, hang on, I need to flag this call into someone. So I need to put a note on it so that we can refer back to this call. So when you are working on any call, and this is what I mean with flagging an ad hoc call. Say you read through a call, you picked up a call, and maybe you see, hang on, this call is a very good example to train my agents on. So I want to send it back into training as part of a group of calls that we give as examples for good calls to train on. You will see in any call details screen, Kolbe allows you to add a tag or a note onto that call. So here I'm going to say, with the example I said, this is a good call. You can create your tag, you can name it whatever you need to. I'm just going to say now, this is a good call for training. And I will then attach this tag onto the call. So as you now work through, you create your group of calls. It could be bad calls. It could be calls for legal to investigate. It could be anything. But the good thing of this is now anybody else that's got access into Kolbe, when they work on their call list or any of their filters, they can go search for specific tags. So in this example, if you've got a trainer who now sits preparing for a training class, he can simply just go pull the list of tags for all the good calls tagged by all the various people. Similarly, any bad call or anything that needs to be trained on, or even for a specific team leader, they can just go search for their tag. So that's just outside of a query or outside of just the dashboard, how you work with just single individual calls that you want to note and you want to create a group of that calls. Next, what I'm quickly going to take you through is just so that you can see how now when you do start building queries or you start visualizing how you access the agent information from there. So the next point that we had is highlighting your outliers and coaching from your dashboards. Now, I'm not going to go into details yet of the use cases. I just first want to show you how Kolbe works, the feature, the process behind, and then we'll go into the use cases and the dashboards from there. But you'll see in Kolbe on your dashboards, you can visualize, you create dashboard cards for any of your results that you want to display. So in this example, for example, what we're looking at, and this is just where agents did not do something. So quickly just going to give a background, and I'm not going to spend too much time on creating queries. But like Rod has mentioned, it's almost like a Control F or a Google search function. Kolbe transcribes conversations. You have a written text or written transcript. You can then build a query that will search through the transcript for the presence or the absence of certain words and phrases. So once you've built that query, you create a dashboard, and I will demonstrate a bit later how easy it is. But once you now created your dashboard, you've got a display in front of you showing where agents did something or where they did not do something. So what I just want to demonstrate in this part is how you now can see in terms of outliers. Here we've built a dashboard, for instance, a sales environment where agents did not use pitch phrases. So easy now for coaching is if you've got this dashboard, you've got the agent in front of you, you simply just click on that agent's name. It takes you into your call list with the exact calls that is present on that dashboard. So that's just how easy it is. If you're sitting, you're the team manager or the manager who needs to understand or you need to go into details, you simply just from any of your dashboards, you click on the data point and it opens up the list of calls for you. So now that you know how easy it is flagging your calls and also using from dashboards, I'm going to just start sharing some use cases. The very first one, and very important, and Rod also stressed it, is looking at your agent productivity. This is something I'm also quite passionate about, and let's take it just quickly clear the filter on the call list. But Kolbe has got a built-in feature or a built-in functionality where without you even building any query, Kolbe calculates the total duration of the recording, which is what you will see in your first column. It then also, as part of that recording, calculates what part of that was an actual conversation. So conversation is regarded as words spoken or any words picked up that were transcribed. Now, anything outside of that is regarded as silence. So that would be hold music, background noise, silences, anything like that where there are no words that can be transcribed. Now, as that, your silence is expressed as a percentage of that total recording. Now, we all know in the call center, your silences, listening to the sounds of silence, if there's high silences on your calls, it's a direct indication of an inefficiency that needs to be investigated and addressed. So it's either that there's a training need, the agent was fumbling, they didn't know what they were supposed to do, they were waiting for someone to help them, they didn't know where to find the information. It could have been a system issue, the system was slow response time, work from home issues, anything like that. Or it could have been an agent behavior issue, where the agent simply did not want to speak, they did not want to take the next call, or they were just keeping quiet, or they did not end the call. So I'm going to show you how we've created a dashboard for the outliers. I also just want to show you, as part of this silence, very nifty as well, is that Kolbe also looks at what part of that silence was at the end of the conversation. So this is after the last word was spoken, the conversation has ended. How long did the recording or the call continue? Very typically, in this case, what we see is where agents simply just did not end the call on their side. This is where you have dialers that don't auto-terminate. They will let that call go. So if it's a voicemail, they will wait for the voicemail to play out. We've got use cases and case studies, for example, where some of our clients have lost 2 or 3 resources worth of time in a matter of 2 or 3 days by a couple of agents who did this. So again, very much agent behavior, but it could also be a network or technical or system issue where the call could not be terminated. So I'm going to take you in how we now use that information, listening to your sounds of silence, but also looking at the durations, how long your agents take to make or take these calls. Very first I'm going to show you then is how you now use and look at agent efficiency using that information. So on your first card, what you will see is where we've used that percentage silence. And we've created a dashboard that shows you your agents, and you can sort this dashboard, which will immediately show you your outliers of agents with calls with a high percentage of silence. Now, remember what I've shown you very easy now. We simply click on this. We go into the call. We have all of these calls available. For instance, here, the duration is 3 minutes. The conversation is 1 minute. When we click on this call, it will open the transcript. And what we can do, we can simply just click to play it from a certain point.
Stevens, this is...
Everywhere where you see this flat line is where your silence was present in the call. So very easy. You can jump to that point to understand what happened.
No problem at all.
Thanks a
It was
lot.
asking, I'm placing you on hold. So here we see, hang on, there's a very long hold, we can investigate. Next, if we go back to the call list, just another way, let's click on the next call. 1 minute, but the conversation is 4 seconds. Even without listening to the call, we can see here, it's a voicemail, but
tone, record your message.
that call was left hanging. So that's just easy now how without doing anything like that, you use the silences within your calls to determine if your agent is actually being productive while they are busy on a call. So we all know from a resourcing perspective, quite important because you determine how many agents you need based on how many calls they make or take. But if those silences are so long, it means they could have been productive making or taking calls. This is just another way how you can use your card instead of volume of calls, where you just highlight the actual duration of the silence. This would just, for instance, be agents who don't have many calls with silences, but the duration of those silences is again very long. And then I'm just also going to show you the post-conversation silences. Like I've mentioned, those calls where the conversation has ended, but the agent did not hang up the call. And again, we can see clearly with Julia as the example agent here, we've got something we need to investigate. So once again, you can click on it. It takes you in here. You can see conversation, post-conversation, 48 seconds. So if we click on this, we can see hello, 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 hello. So again, we can, if we listen to the recording, we can determine what has happened. So that is using your silences. You can also just benchmark the conversation duration of your agents just to see if there are outliers on a specific day. Would be either they made more calls or they spoke for longer on the calls. But again, like I said, on the data point, you can click, you can go in, you can investigate, and you can take action. And then just those durations, how you can use the duration to then also look at abnormally long calls. So if you know your average time in your call center is 15 minutes, you can then start flagging calls that goes above that or 20 minutes or longer. We've also seen in this a lot of times it's an indication of personal calls, but then also again, agents who require training who are not quite certain either of product knowledge, the process or the escalation process they need to follow. It could also be an indication of long hold times where they need to contact someone outside of the call center to fulfill the call. And then similarly, you can look at shorter calls, which again would be either agents are ending calls too shortly, or there's a lead issue. If it's outbound calls, there's a lot of voicemail calls, but again, it will flag those types of calls. I'm also just going to show you using your durations, how you can determine the effectiveness of your agents. So I've got 2 examples. Firstly, just sales effectiveness. You can determine using how long the call took. You can start measuring and looking at your agents who closed or any of your agents who got a successful call outcome within a certain amount of time. So in this example, these are your effective sales agents, effective closers. It's your agents who managed to obtain a sale in less than 5 minutes. But then you can also look at agents who take longer to obtain a certain successful outcome. And again, these would be your agents who would require more training, or maybe who's more detailed, who you could use as examples going through all the steps and the process that they need to go through. I just want to show you collections effectiveness once again. So this is a successful call outcome, promise to pay reached in less than 3 minutes, or then promise to pay reached in more than 7 minutes. And then again, you can look at agents, the negotiation, objection handling, but you can look at your non-successful call outcomes, and you can pull those calls where the agents took very little time, which would mean they did not negotiate, they did not deal with objections, or you can look at calls where they took very long. And this is once again where agents did not know how to deal with the objection. They continued trying to negotiate to get that promise to pay, but actually they could have ended the call a bit sooner. So that was just looking at your silences, your durations. What I'm going to show you now as well, because in the call center, very important, is looking at your call outcomes or your RAPs or your dispositions. So in any of your environments where your agents at the end of your call need to indicate what happened on that call. Now, we use that information to understand what happened. Are the leads good? Can we expect money coming in? Are there going to be sales? So we need to make sure that agents are doing what they need to do and wrapping correctly. So you can build queries to test the logic of your wrap statuses. I'm quickly going to show you as an example, just a query which is looking whether there's an indication of a voicemail on a call. This is very easy. You can build it out. It can become longer. But the example here is anywhere where there are words like hash hang up after the tone, you've reached the voicemail, please record your message, etc. It will pick up and flag a call where this is present. Now you also can build the inverse of this, where it looks for calls where this is not present. So nowhere in that call is there an indication that there is a voicemail. Now that we've built that query, you can start looking at your specific call outcomes, and you can start seeing, was that actually what happened on the call? So with that voicemail example, looking at the query where the query does not pick up anywhere there's an indication of a voicemail, but the agent wrapped the call, they disposed of the call, or the call outcome was indicated as a voicemail. Here again, we can see, for instance, with Warren, we click on the calls, he's wrapped the call as a voicemail. We can see here on the side, it was a voicemail, but the query says no voicemail. And again, we click on that call, we can have a look at what happened. We can see this is an actual conversation, a nice vernac call, but this was not a voicemail call. So here we've highlighted, we can see with Warren, we need to investigate. Similarly, you can also have a look at any of your leads that were closed. So the lead was closed as not interested, dropped call, no arrangement, any of those that would end off the lead. It's not going to be dialed anymore. But there's actually an indication of a voicemail message present on that call. So this would mean it should have been set as voicemail so that it goes back. It needs to be contacted again. But right now we've closed it and it's a lead that's been wasted. You can also then look, for instance, at your right party contact calls, where you look where on any right party contact calls there was an actual voicemail. So that's how you use your voicemails, just to go check any of your successful calls, whether there was a voicemail. And then again, you can use your durations on your wrap statuses to check the logic. So you can go have a look at calls where, for instance, the agent indicated it was dropped, the data dropped, or the call was dropped, but that call was longer than a certain duration. So logic just says that why would someone stay on the line for longer than a certain time, having a conversation and then drop the call? So that's then calls that need to be investigated to see, was the right wrap status used, or did something happen on the call that needed to be addressed? Again, here on this side, it looks at any of your right party contact calls, but these calls were less than a certain conversation or duration. The question here should be, how did they come to that successful or right party contact, and why was the call the duration of the call so little? And that's again highlighting where you need to investigate, click, start taking action, coaching with agents. You can also look, for instance, for non-interest. So for example, on your sales calls, you can build a query that looks where there's no expression on the call that the person is not interested. And you can then go look at calls where the agent said not interested. And again, here we can see Warren, his name is here a lot, but we can see, hang on, why did he say not interested? It's again a lead wasted. We need to go have a look at it. We need to listen to those calls, and we can coach, and we can ensure that the right status is selected and the right process is then also followed. No arrangement similar in your collections environment. If there's no indication from the debtor, we've built a query looking whether the debtor indicated unable to pay. So this query then looks for any call where this is not present. So the debtor did not indicate that they cannot pay, but the agent disposed of the call as a no arrangement call. So this is going to improve your collections effectiveness, but also making sure your agents are doing what they need to do. And then the last example I want to show with your dispositions, there's obviously many more, but this looks at your callbacks. A lot of time there's callbacks that should be scheduled, they don't get scheduled, or the agent says it's a callback, but it shouldn't be a callback. But the example we've got here is a query that looks for an indication from the agent that the callback was scheduled. So this is, for instance, an indication like, what time can we phone you back? We will phone you back at this time, example, all of that. So this query looks at where the agent said they wrapped the call as a callback, but there's no indication on that call that they actually scheduled that callback. And then on this side as well, this query looks at in the conversation, any of your promise to pay, any of your calls that were wrapped as a successful call. But there's an indication on that call from the person they spoke to that a callback is required. So I want to show you that query. That's, for instance, looking at indications like I'm busy at the moment, I'm going into a meeting. Let me quickly just show you on the first, callback required. So any of your call that has an indication like this, which will then measure the agent said it's a successful call, but hang on, there's an indication it wasn't successful. So that was just driving your agent behavior, ensuring you understand the call outcome insights and that you can actually work with it. And you can use it to forecast on what you can expect to happen at the end of the month. Now, the next thing I'm quickly going to show you, and we concentrated a bit more on this on our previous 2 webinars, which the links are available. But you can also then, now that you can build queries, like I've explained, you build a query to look for the presence or absence of certain things. So you can build, for instance, compliance queries that looks for the presence of customer was authenticated. Did they confirm ID or date of birth or something like that? So you will build individual queries, but you can then use dashboards where you either use, and I'm going to use the sales scorecard as an example, but you can pull together a scorecard similar to your QA scorecard, where you input all the different queries or questions into one scorecard. The example here is a compliance scorecard that looks at all the sales calls per agent, where the agent actually did that specific thing. So in here, did they mention that calls are recorded? Next one, did they authenticate the customer? And so on and so on. So you will form your scorecard. You can group it by agent. Let me quickly just show you. We group it by agent. As you see, you can indicate a weighting. It's similar to a normal QA scorecard. But now you can see your agents who urgently need to be coached or who need to be recognized for doing really well. So here again, you click on it, it takes you in. So it's your QA function. And instead of using your time to listen and assess the calls, you now have your list of outliers that you can focus your time on. So that's your scorecards, but you can also then look at specific instances. So if you know your pain point is calls recorded statement is not done, very easy, you just pull a card. I'm going to use this as example, calls recorded, not informed. Here, what I want to see is a list per agent. And in here, we include simply just all the calls that matches the query for calls recorded statement, not read. So that's how easy it is to pull that card. We sort the card, and Warren, once again, we can see there's an issue. We need to coach and sit with Warren to make him perform better on the job. So that's just then using individual queries. You can decide to focus on 1 or 2 things for the month, or then your individual or overall QA scorecards to identify your agents and to coach on your agents. The next thing I'm going to show you is then just how you can also use Callbee to focus on soft skills. So like we build a query to look for the expression of words and phrases, empathy, soft skills, politeness, there's always an expression of that word. So I'm going to show you an example just for soft skills. Let's just quickly go to the next page. I've built 2. The first one would look for an indication of politeness on this call. Words like please, thank you, all of these words, and you can expand the query. But this is looking whether politeness was displayed on that call. You can also build, and we've got examples, we've got a Callbee phrase pack that we can share, but you can build many queries as long as there's an expression of a word. So here, for example, is empathy, words like sorry about that, I understand how you feel for your inconvenience, I'm sorry for the inconvenience, etc. So you can build those queries to look for certain words and phrases. You can look, for instance, for repeating words back, indicating that they were listening. All of those you can build a query for. So I'm going to show you just some examples how we've used these queries, looking at agent soft skills. Here is an agent soft skills scorecard. Looking at all the soft skill queries, for instance, they displayed politeness, empathy was expressed, the call opening was done correctly, and the call was ended appropriately. So again, it highlights your outliers, and then you build your card for each individual check, where you now can see where did they not show politeness. Here we've got an issue, we need to listen to it. Empathy not display, etc. And the last thing I'm quickly just then going to show you is, now that you know and you've started coaching, how do you track whether there is actually an improvement? So I'm going to use 2 examples, and we've got Warren as the example that we've seen. But now when you know you've coached an agent, you can go build a dashboard that, using your line graph, will track movement. So in here, I'm going to use the example where Warren, we indicated that he wraps a voicemail where there is no voicemail. So you build the graph as a line graph. We filter that card to see, for Warren specifically, any voicemail call where there is no voicemail message. We can now see the percentage tracked on that. So obviously we are hoping, if we started coaching the 4th, that this line should go down. And if it's not, we can immediately know. Next one again is empathy. And again, the example of Warren is he was not expressing empathy on his calls. If we know we started coaching the 1st of Jan, this indicates that there is movement down. So there's less cases where he did not express any empathy, which means there is improvement and movement. So that's just overall, either per agent, how you can track, or also then if you group it organization or team-wise, how you can see if there's any improvement in that specific area that you are coaching on. I said 25 minutes, I'm right on the dot with 25 minutes from my side, but that's all I wanted to show for today.